Imagine standing at the edge of your life, staring into a future that feels heavy, repetitive, and unrelenting. You see the years ahead stretched out like a dull gray road, and deep down, you know you were meant for more. This is the moment that every hero faces before the story begins. And I'm sure you're familiar with Hercules, and if not, here's who he is. Hercules is a demigod of Greek mythology, known for his unmatched strength and courage. But Hercules didn't start as a legend. His path to greatness was born out of shame and pain. He destroyed everything that he loved in a cursed fit of rage. And when the weight of his actions came crashing down, he had two choices: let the guilt consume him, or rise from the ashes and rebuild himself. You might not have monsters to slay or gods to defy, but the internal battle is the same. Right now, you are staring down the biggest opponent of your life, the version of you that is too comfortable, too scared, too unwilling to change. And for me, this moment came when I joined the Navy. I thought I was signing up for a fresh start, a ticket out of this chaos that I grew up in, but the truth was I brought the chaos with me. The Navy didn't erase my struggles, it just gave me a new stage to face them. I was sleeping in my truck, trying side hustles, barely scraping by, and wondering if I'd even break the cycle. But let me tell you something, no one is coming to save you. Not your parents, not your friends, not your boss. The world doesn't owe you a breakthrough. If you want to change your life, you have to decide that this is the moment when everything shifts. What I can tell you is that if you apply everything you're about to watch in this video in the next 90 days, you will become a completely different version of yourself. But before we get started, there are two simple requirements. Requirement one, watch this video right here to the very end. This isn't just content, it's the blueprint for your transformation. Every word, every insight, every step is designed to give you the tools you need to become unrecognizable. But here's the catch. You can't skim through this. You can't half watch it while scrolling your phone. Commit to absorbing everything in it. Requirement number two, watch the video in the description down below. The journey doesn't end here, it starts here. In the description, I've linked another video that breaks down exactly how to build the financial foundation for your transformation. And if you think you can skip this step, you're wrong. Without the tools to create wealth and independence, you're building your life on shaky ground. Watch that video as soon as you finish this one. It's one of my most popular YouTube videos explaining how I make over $150,000 a month, and it takes me only 2 hours a week to manage this business. This is your crossroads. You can stay where you are, safe, familiar, stuck, or you can build the demigod version of yourself. And before we continue, this is going to suck. It won't be easy. It will demand everything from you, so just know that you've been warned. But on the other side, that choice is the life you've been dreaming of. If you're still here, great. Let's jump into it. Rule number one, burn the bridges of mediocrity. Let's talk about mediocrity for a second. The silent killer of dreams. It doesn't announce itself with flashing lights or grand gestures. It creeps in quietly, wrapping itself around your life until one day you wake up and realize you've settled for less than you deserve, less than you're capable of, less than you once dreamed of. Mediocrity doesn't feel like failure. That's what makes it so dangerous. It feels safe, comfortable, familiar. It's the warmth of staying in bed when you know you should be up grinding. It's the excuse you tell yourself when you hit the snooze button, skip the gym, or convince yourself that tomorrow will be different. It's the false belief that staying where you are is better than risking everything for a chance at something greater. For me, mediocrity looked like sleeping in the backseat of my truck, pretending that someday life would magically improve on its own. I tell myself, you're doing your best, you're trying, but deep down, I knew that was all a lie. I wasn't doing my best, I was just doing what was easy. Here's the harsh truth of all of that. Mediocrity is a choice. It's not something life forces on you, it's something that you allow. It's the voice in your head that says, this is good enough. But let me ask you something. When you were a kid dreaming about your future, was good enough what you wanted? Probably not. You wanted to be unstoppable, you wanted to feel alive, you wanted to walk into rooms and command respect, not because you demanded it, but because people could see it in your eyes that you spark of purpose, that unshakable belief that you're built for more. To break free from mediocrity, you have to make a choice. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when it's convenient for you, right now. You have to decide that you're done settling, that you're willing to do whatever it takes, no matter how uncomfortable, no matter how hard, because let me tell you, life doesn't reward the comfortable. It rewards the relentless, the people who get up when they don't want to, who show up when nobody's watching them, who bet on themselves even when they know all the odds are stacked against them. So here's some actionable steps for that. Identify what's keeping you comfortable. People, habits, routines, and cut them out. Set a higher standard for yourself. Write down 3 areas in your life where you've been settling. Now set goals that scare you in those areas. Take immediate action, do something bold today that aligns with your new standards. Call someone, quit something, or start something. You're not mediocre. Deep down, you know that. But knowing it isn't enough. You have to prove it to yourself, to the people who doubted you, to the version of you that's been waiting for this moment to rise. This is where mediocrity ends. This is where your story begins. Rule number 2. Build your personal labors. Every great transformation requires a trial of crucible that burns away the old and forges something new. For Hercules, it was the 12 labors, impossible tasks designed to test every fiber of his being. For you, the trials might not involve slaying monsters or stealing from gods, but there's no less daunting. Here's the truth. No one wants to admit growth isn't glamorous. It's not Instagram worthy. Mornings with perfect coffee or inspirational quotes scribbled in journals. Growth is brutal. It's messy. It's the 5 a.m. alarms and feel like punishment. The late nights when exhaustion whispers, just quit, bro, just go to sleep. It's the quiet moments when you wonder if it's all worth it. For me, when my labors began in the Navy, I didn't have a roadmap or a mentor, just a gnawing desperation to escape the cycle of failure that I'd been born into. I worked side hustles out of my truck trying to build anything that could pull me out of the chaos. Most of them failed, but every failure was a lesson. Every rejection was a spark and pushed me forward. Now it's your turn to build your labors. You don't need a fancy plan or perfect conditions. You need grit. You need to wake up every day and commit to 4 things that push you closer to becoming unrecognizable. These are your non-negotiables. Cut the noise and eliminate everything that doesn't serve you. Social media, distractions, toxic people, bad habits, they're dead weight. And if it doesn't make you stronger, it doesn't belong in your life. Secondly, commit to daily movement. This isn't about looking good for Instagram. It's about proving to yourself that you're in control. 30 minutes of exercise every day. No excuses, rain or shine, tired or not, you get it done. Thirdly, build your mindset. Take 15 minutes every day to reconnect with your thoughts, meditate, journal, reflect, whatever it takes to bring clarity to your vision. A chaotic mind can't build a disciplined life. Fourth, learn a skill that pays. And if you're not investing in your growth, you're falling behind. Spend at least an hour every day learning a skill that moves you closer to financial freedom. Whether it's coding, sales, or starting a business, pick something and go all in. These labors aren't optional. They're the foundation of your transformation. They will separate the people who stay stuck from the ones who rise up. And let me be clear, this will suck. There will be days when you don't want to get out of bed, when the world feels like it's crashing down on you, and when everything in you screams, why bother? Those are the moments that define you. Those are the moments when champions are made. Hercules didn't become a legend because he was born special. He became a legend because he faced every single trial, every impossible task, and refused to back down. Rule number 3. Master the power of financial freedom. Let me hit you with some cold, hard truth. You can't build your dream life if you're constantly stressed about money. Every ambitious thought, every big idea, every bold move gets choked out by the weight of financial anxiety. It's like trying to climb a mountain with chains wrapped around your legs. I've been there. I know what it feels like to lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering how you're going to make it through another month. Watching my parents juggle multiple jobs to keep a roof over our head wasn't just painful, it was a constant reminder of what happens when life controls you instead of the other way around. Money doesn't solve every problem, but let me tell you this. It solves the ones that keep you stuck. It gives you options. It gives you the ability to dream bigger, move faster, and focus on what truly matters to you. Without financial freedom, you're not living. You're surviving. For me, the key to breaking free was learning how to create income on my own terms. I discovered rental arbitrage almost by accident. And let me tell you, I wasn't prepared. I didn't have a mentor or a fancy business plan. I had a regular credit card, a pile of debt, and the willingness to bet on myself. But here's the thing. Eventually, I realized I couldn't do it all alone. I hit a wall and no amount of hustle was going to get me through it. That's when I made one of my scariest decisions ever in my whole life, and I invested $15,000 in my first mentor. And it wasn't easy handing over that amount of money when I didn't have much to begin with. But looking back, it was the best investment that I had ever made. And that mentor helped me unlock doors I didn't even know existed. It wasn't easy. I made mistakes, big ones, but every mistake was a lesson, and every lesson got me closer to the life that I wanted. Today, my business generates over $150,000 a month, but it's not about the money. It's about the freedom it gives me. The freedom to take care of my family, invest in my growth, and pursue my purpose without fear. And here's the best part. You can do it too. You don't need a trust fund or a business degree. You don't even need to know where to start. All you need is the willingness to learn and the discipline to execute. And if you're serious about becoming unrecognizable, you need to get your finances in order. That means learn a skill that pays, whether it's rental arbitrage, sales, coding, or something else entirely. Just pick a skill that has a real market value, invest time into mastering it, focus on income producing activities, stop wasting time on things that don't move the needle. Your time is your most valuable asset. Spend it on activities that bring tangible results. Next is reinvest in yourself. The best investment you can make isn't in stocks, crypto, or real estate. It's in you. Whether it's courses, mentors, or tools to help you grow, prioritize your personal development. Financial freedom isn't just a nice idea, it's a necessity. It's the foundation for everything else you want to achieve. And if you want to become the superhero version of yourself, you need the resources to back it up. Hercules couldn't have completed his labors without the tools and the support the gods provided him. And you can't complete yours if you're drowning in financial stress. This is your wake-up call. Build the skills, make the money, and take back control of your life. Rule number 4, make a promise to yourself and keep it. Let me ask you something. Who are you doing this for? No, like really, like who wakes you up in the morning when you don't want to get out of bed? Who's that face in your mind when you think about why you can't afford to quit? For me, it started with my dad, but not in the way that you might think. He didn't give me motivation by being a hard worker or setting an example of relentless ambition. No, the spark came from a moment that at first glance seemed small and even kind of selfish. When I was 16, my dad and my stepmom decided they wanted to help me get a truck, and they were planning to buy me an old, I think it was like $2,500 Dodge 1500 pickup, which was a nice gesture, but for me, it just wasn't what I wanted. So I told them, no thanks, I'd rather work and buy what I want. And I could see the disbelief in my dad's face. He said, you're not buying a $20,000 truck for your first truck. That's ridiculous. And back then, $20,000 was the cost of a brand new vehicle. To him, it was impractical. To me, it was motivation. I didn't argue, I didn't complain, I just got to work. I hustled like my life depended on it, grinding day in and day out for 3 months, and I poured everything I had into making that goal a real reality. And guess what? 3 months later, I rolled up in a brand new Chevy Silverado Texas edition. Not just any truck, I lifted it, added wheels and tires, and made it something that represented me. That wasn't just a truck, it was proof. Proof that I could dream big, put in the work, and make the impossible happen. That moment taught me something I carried with me ever since. You don't need anyone's approval to chase what you want to do. You don't need anyone to believe in you. All you need is the willingness to work harder than anyone else expects you to do, and the discipline to actually see it through. So how do you create your promise, define your $20,000 truck? What's the goal, your dream that sets your soul on fire? You need to write a deadline for yourself. Choose a date for when you'll make it happen. Hold yourself accountable. Share your goals with someone who actually matters to you, and don't stop until you've delivered. Why is this so important? A promise to yourself is sacred. It's the fuel that keeps you going when the road gets tough. So I'll ask you again, who are you doing this for? Maybe it's for your family, your kids, your partner, or maybe it's for the younger version of yourself who didn't think he could pull it off. Whoever it is, make them proud, because here's the truth. No one is going to hand you their dream. People will doubt it. They'll call you crazy, impractical, even selfish. Let them. Their disbelief doesn't matter. What matters is the promise you make to yourself, and whether you have the guts to complete it, that's up to you. What's your $20,000 truck? What's that dream, that goal, and that thing that you want so badly you can almost feel it in your hands? Write it down, commit to it, then go to work. Because at the end of the day, the only person who can make it happen is you. Rule number 5, face the dragon. Every great story has a villain. The most dangerous one isn't the rival across the battlefield. It's the one staring back at you in the mirror. Your biggest obstacle, the dragon you have to slay, is yourself. Let's get real. The limit you're living under right now aren't because of your circumstances, your past, or even the people around you. They're because of the stories you've been telling yourself. I'm not good enough. I'll start tomorrow. What if I fail? Does that sound familiar to you? That's your dragon. It's eating up your doubts and your insecurities, your procrastination, and it's been keeping you stuck in a version of yourself that you know deep down is smaller than you're capable of being. For me, my dragon showed up every time I failed. And believe me, I failed a lot. And I was trying side hustles out of the backseat of my truck, like I said, barely scraping by. Every time one of those hustles flopped, the dragon got louder. Maybe you're not cut out for this. Maybe this is as good as it gets. But here's what I learned. That dragon isn't there to stop you. It's there to test you. It wants to know how badly you want it, what you say you want. Are you willing to put yourself through everything that it takes for you to win? Slaying your dragon doesn't happen in a single moment. It happens in the choices you make every single day. How to slay your dragon: identify your limiting beliefs, write down the negative thoughts that hold you back. I'm not good enough. Reframe your mindset. Replace those beliefs with empowering ones. I'm capable of achieving anything I commit to. Act despite fear. Do something every day that scares you. Fear loses its power when you confront it head on. Your dragon isn't some mythical beast you can overpower with brute strength. It's a mental game. It's about rewiring your thoughts and replacing the story that holds you back with the ones that push you forward. And when I finally invested $15,000 in my first mentor, it felt like the riskiest move of my life. The dragon was screaming, what if this doesn't work? What if you waste all of that money? But I made the choice to bet on myself. That decision changed everything. And here's the thing, the dragon never really goes away. Even now, as someone who's built a $150,000 a month business, it still shows up in my ear and whispers, what if you lose it all? The difference is now I know how to fight it. You'll never eliminate the dragon, but you can tame it. You can prove day after day that you're stronger than your doubts, your fears, and your excuses. So the question isn't, can you beat the dragon? The question is, will you choose to fight it? The truth is, the dragon is scary, but regret is worse. Regret is looking back on your life and realizing you let fear win. Don't let that be your story. Face the dragon, fight it, prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you ever imagined. Get to it. Rule number 6, return unrecognizable. Every transformation comes with trials, not trials you pick, but the ones life throws at you. See what you're made of. And when you come out the other side, you're not just different, you're unrecognizable. Here's the truth no one tells you. There's nothing inherently special about the people you admire. The ones who've built massive success and live life on their own terms, they probably weren't born with it. And they didn't wake up one day with all the answers. The only difference between them and you is knowledge. Do you think millionaires are all geniuses? They're not. I'm not. I didn't succeed because I'm smarter than you. I succeeded because I learned what it takes to create wealth and I acted on it. If you knew how to make $1 million, wouldn't you? Of course you would. Yet the gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't talent, luck, or some unattainable magic. It's what you know and what you do with the knowledge. That's the great equalizer. The skills, systems, and strategies that lead to success aren't locked away in some vault. They're out there waiting for the person who's willing to seek them out and put them to work. So stop looking at the people who admire like they're untouchable. They face the same fears, doubts, and failures you're battling right now. The only difference, they didn't let those things stop them. They found the information, built the habits, and did the work. Now, let's talk about what happens when you commit to this process. When you embrace the grind, gain the knowledge, and take consistent action, you become someone unrecognizable. Not just to others, but to yourself. Your mindset will shift. Challenges won't intimidate you anymore. You'll stop seeing problems as walls and start seeing them as doors waiting to be opened. Your thoughts will evolve, becoming sharper, more strategic, and more resilient. Your confidence will radiate when you face your hardest battles and come out stronger. It shows. You'll walk into rooms with just unshakable presence. People will notice, not because you're trying to impress them, but your growth speaks louder than words. Trust me. Your habits will define you. The things you use to procrastinate will become non-negotiable. Waking up early, hitting your goals, staying disciplined. It won't feel like effort anymore. It'll just be who you are. Your result will be undeniable. The body you've built, the skills you've mastered, the life you've created, it'll all reflect the work you've put in. People won't have to ask you what you've been doing. They'll see it in everything you touch. The next 90 days, here's the roadmap for your transformation. Cut the noise. Get rid of the distractions, whether it's social media, toxic relationships, or bad habits. Your energy is finite. Use it very wisely. Secondly, establish non-negotiables. Commit to daily habits that align with your goals. Exercise, mindset work, skill building. These aren't optional. They're the foundation of your growth. Thirdly, take on a challenge. Choose a goal that feels just beyond your reach. Maybe it's launching a business, mastering a new skill, or tackling a physical challenge. Commit to it, no matter what. Fourth, invest in your personal growth. Growth doesn't happen by accident, whether it's a mentor, a course, or time spent learning. Make the choice to prioritize your development. Fifth, document your journey. Keep track of your wins, your lessons, and your progress. This will keep you focused when the journey gets tough, and trust me, it will. Lastly, when the 90 days are over, you'll look in the mirror and barely recognize the person staring back at you. Someone stronger, sharper, more disciplined, someone who doesn't just dream but executes, and the world will see it. Your friends, your family, even strangers, they'll sense the shift in you. They won't be able to explain it, but they'll know you're not the same. This is your moment. The path ahead of you is not easy by any means, but it is worth it. Because when you return, you won't just be better, you'll be unrecognizable. So if you're ready to begin, comment down below so you can make the commitment to yourself today. And as always, my name's Stephen Billman. Like and subscribe down below. And if you enjoyed this, watch the video in the description, and you got this. I'm rooting for you. Peace.